Hello again, friends. Welcome back to Trust the Profits here on YouTube. Please hit that like and subscribe button. It does so much to support us. This is Doubling Down. I am your host, Colin Sheehan. We've been on a little bit of a cold streak lately. Of course, we had Vinny come on last week, hit the Gotham. I've gone 1 out of 2 as usual for a couple of weeks. What we do here is we put together a daily double ticket. And obviously, after all the events last week where you had action up and down the coasts, with 4 prep races, of course, all the scratches happening, a little bit calmer of a week. So there's only one option to go to for Doubling Down this week, and that is to Tampa Bay. I have a very special guest as we release this show here on Friday, March 8th. It is the beginning of season 2 for Game of Silks. Obviously, a big sponsor here on Trust the Profits. We're going to get into that on Doubling Down.
Trust the Profits is proud to be sponsored by Game of Silks. Go to silks.io to get in the game. Real ownership, real races, real rewards.
Welcome in. This is Doubling Down. I'm Colin Sheehan, joined by a new voice this week. As I've talked about on this show, I always want to bring in new voices to the handicapping world and put the spotlight on some other superb handicappers that might be out there. And this week, I am glad to be joined by Kings Point Stable from the Game of Silks community. And of course, today we have our opening to season 2. How exciting is that?
I can't wait. You know, it's a great opportunity to get into the game with the season 2 horses, new 2-year-olds. The market should be heating up, which is important for the infrastructure. To, you need new horses out there for people to look to pinhook on and pick up, because that to me is a great opportunity for the handicapper to get involved, not necessarily to mint them, but to just wait for someone to be looking to sell them. And that's going to take some time. But in a couple of months, you'll see. It'll be a really robust market of people looking to make deals, shares of horses, every aspect that you could possibly imagine of the game is going to be active and going.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, season 2 starting now is minting for 2-year-olds. So this is the new season is minting 2-year-olds that have not yet raced, probably hitting the track a couple months, I suppose, although you might get some early ones. To me, it's a little too early. You want to look for the ones that are coming out in July and August, and up at Saratoga, of course, is to me the real start of the 2-year-old season. You were obviously a new partner in the Game of Silks. Can you let the people know? I saw your video that you dropped. You've got a new YouTube channel. You're putting out new content. Let everyone know what you've got going on, both from Game of Silks, but also what is King Point Stables?
Okay, so at 45, I never thought I'd be starting a YouTube channel. So that's that. I'm excited because it gives me something, it's very new. I have a background in teaching and coaching. I spoke about it in the video. And my relationship has grown over this past year with the Game of Silks. I've been very active with outside of, the social media space, talking with, bringing people into the space, investors of different levels, and looking at the game not just as a game, but also an economy of scale where if you buy, I'm talking 50, 100 horses, how does it affect your ROI as opposed to just buying the one and a little more risk involved with just getting one horse, just some of the back end stuff. So I was recently named as one of the members of their partner program, which I'm really excited about. And to give back, what I've done is through my affiliate link or my partner link, if you do sign up, there's no purchase necessary. What I'm going to be doing is I'm doing a giveaway to celebrate the fact that I'm a new partner for the month of the pre-sale mint. If you do decide that you want to join the Game of Silks, and if you're not even sure if you want to even buy an asset yet, buy a horse or an avatar, just sign up. Hopefully we can have the link put down in the description. If not, you could find me on YouTube, Kings Point Stables. I'm on YouTube. Watch the video, kind of explains the giveaway. And again, just looking to bring more people into the space. Once you do decide to sign up and join, reach out to me on any social sites, and I'd be more than happy to walk you through every step of the game, to take the horse player and kind of make it a little easier for them to navigate the space.
Yeah, and Jean Paul has an excellent resource for those of you that want to dip your toe and find out the game. You can always reach out to me as well on Twitter, as I have started to navigate my way through it. It's such a ton of fun. I'm coming up with some ideas to get people that are not, it's a big investment, and you might have some people that want to get in for a little bit less. I will be offering that opportunity too if you want to reach out to me. Any of us are so happy. The game is so much fun that there's no competition, I don't feel. We're all just trying to let everyone see what it's all about and kind of help each other out.
I got to tell you, I'm sure I was as devastated when Locke scratched as you were, because we root, the community roots for Trust the Profits, Colin and El Hombre and Tim, who's the guys are getting involved and really talking it up. So when your horse is running, it's the whole community is running. It doesn't matter if I don't have a horse in the race. Who am I going to root for? I'm going to root for guys that have horses in the race. And again, it's less of a that cutthroat environment. We're all kind of, unless we have a horse in the race against each other, but other than that, we're rooting for each other all the way.
Absolutely. So enough Game of Silks. We got to get to handicapping.
Yes.
That's why I picked you out, because I know your background in the Game of Silks community is actually, as mine is, right, from a horse player and from a handicapping standpoint. So we are going to go down to Tampa Bay and look at race 10 and race 11. Both of these races are 3-year-olds, so both of these races are eligible for real rewards in the Game of Silks. You have a purse of $2,000 in the Game of Silks, a $200,000 purse in the Florida Oaks Grade 3 for fillies on the turf. They're going 1 mile and a 16th. And let me tell you, I had a hard time, and I think a little bit of the morning line is reflective of that as well, as you've got a very competitive field here. A lot of horses that, when I look at 1 mile and a 16th for 3-year-old fillies, who has shown some success at the distance, and you didn't get to cross out many that angle, because a lot of them have actually run pretty well at the distance. You've got a couple that are coming off of synthetic. Maybe we'll see how they do off of the turf. But to me, this was a tough race to try and figure out. Where did you end up landing?
I landed on the 12 here. I looked around. I mean, our texts back and forth with each other were, this is deep, and you were like, yeah, no shit. When you're looking at this, you're going, you could land anywhere. I mean, you have Gaffleone and Brendan Walsh. That's a really good looking horse coming back from the Breeders' Cup, Philly Turf. You have a couple of really good looking Chad Browns in there that I have also involved in my ticket. But I landed on the 12. I really love the Woodbine circuit. I think it's a really tough place to run, especially over the summer. Mark Cassie does a tremendous job with horses, and he points them in the right direction. I think bringing this horse down, and I think it's the last race. Let me go to my notes here. Sorry. It was her last race. Yeah, she comes out of the Forward Gal. That was a really tough race with some really tough dirt, and it was a sprint, really tough dirt horses. And I think that was just the right kind of race for her to, the quality of horse that was in that race. And moving from now, from the dirt to turf, I just, that dirt to turf angle, Mark Cassie, I just think that he's got something there with this horse. So my number one was the 12. Right underneath, I go with the 6. I think this horse coming back out of the Brendan Walsh's horse, Austria, coming out, and then the 2 Chad Browns. That's the way I ended up on this ticket in first leg.
Yeah, number 12. Number 12 is a horse that I put worries me for my notes. So that means to me this was the first one I crossed off that I didn't continue on with. But you're right. What this horse did on the synthetic, 2 firsts up at Woodbine, one of those going 1 mile and the 16th. They try it on the dirt. I think the move back to the turf is going to be a very successful angle for this horse. Cassie hits 15% first on the grass and has a positive ROI. So I definitely can't argue with you there. I do end up taking one of the favorites in the next leg, so I figured I had to do a little bit of cutting for my cost of my ticket. And as I think about this now, I've talked on this show for so long about my angle of not playing horses coming back from Breeders' Cup races, because that's where they're keyed up for. And that first one back, they always take a lot of money. And I think it's a horse that you can play against. But I actually ended up here on the 6th, like you, out of the Brendan Walsh barn with Tyler Gaffney on board. I'm a little worried this horse is coming off the layoff. But I think the scenario is going to work out pretty good for this horse as far as being able to come maybe from off the pace a little bit. Maybe get a situation where some of these other horses go to the lead, and Austere, who is only 2 lengths behind. I know you get a 5th place finish on your Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly Turf, but it was only lost by 2 lengths. So I think that's a horse you definitely have to pay attention to. And because of the tough field, I think you're going to get actually a pretty good price on the 6. I included the 7 style points on my ticket as well. A little bit of, Sean Patrick Nolan in my ear. You always look at the Oscar Performance babies. Oscar Performance having a very good performance as a sire. This horse has shown some increasing speed figures. Started off with that 68 at 1 mile and a 16th up in your neck of the woods in Aqueducts. Finished 8th in that race, but then came back Christmas Eve and has run February 3rd, 2 races at Gulfstream on the turf. Javier Castellano aboard. I think that's also why I kept Austere. The fact that Tyler Gaffleone, who had been running both of these horses, ends up picking the number 6 here in this leg. The only other horse that I decided to use was the number 11, Dynamic Pricing. You're getting second off the layoff here for Chad Brown, who's hitting at 29% with that angle. Another horse I figured to be coming off the pace was half-length beaten in the Grade 3 Sweet Chant at Gulfstream Park. Dynamic Pricing is one that I was interested in. We'll take a look at the pace here because I thought it was interesting. Only 2 horses here with the EP8. I prefer horses closing on the turf. Do you have a style that you tend to lean towards when you're handicapping turf races?
I like speed. I like it. I like that controlling speed, a horse that can get out there in front and just kind of settle down. And you need the right jockey for it too, though. I mean, certain guys are really good at just getting a horse to relax on the front end, and then just holding off the kickers. That's just a preference, especially on the turf, just to have that horse that's going to be out there and then can kind of steal it on the front.
So with that, we move on to the marquee race for Saturday, and that is the Grade 3 mile and a 16th Tampa Bay Derby. It's fun to see the Derby in the title because that means we're getting into the big preps for the 150th Kentucky Derby. You start seeing the Tampa Bay Derby, the Arkansas Derby, the Florida Derby, the Louisiana Derby, all leading up, of course, to the Kentucky Derby. And we bring in a field of 10. This race is worth $4,100 in Silk's purse. That's real money. And you see a couple of the owners of the horses here, a couple names that you recognize if you go in and join the Discord. Fluka, Gibbs Racing, Legacy Alpha, a lot of horses here who are owned in the game of Silks. And a couple of them, Domestic Product and No More Time, figure to be your 2 vying for favoritism here. Look, I get it. This field is a couple low, the 3-year-olds that we've used to been seeing over the last couple of weeks. Everyone can agree to that, I would think. However, if you get past that, I think you end up with a very interesting competitive race here. What do you think? Do you agree that this is going to be a competitive edition of the Tampa Bay Derby?
I think these are very evenly matched horses. So yes, very competitive. You don't have that that star power. All right, these are, I would say, a cut below what we've been seeing. Not to say that they can't improve and show that they're going to grow out of this race. I know that a lot of especially Todd Pletcher, they love Tampa, using Tampa as a springboard to toughen, get those horses toughened up. And it's something about Tampa that deep track, and horses do come out of this track, very, very well, and they do very well coming out in some of the other later preps.
Absolutely, and that's an angle that I pay attention to because the Tampa Bay Dirt is, as you said, it's a much sandier track, right? And I think you want to pay attention to horses that have had success on the Tampa Bay Oval, and that's something that I immediately pay attention to, and that is ultimately why I did end up using the 7 No More Time. This horse is 7-5. I understand that it's a little bit different when it comes to the competition. But I thought that race in the Sam F. Davis, he went the 9th fastest half mile in the past 60 days in all U.S. racing. I don't think that he's going to have to go that fast in this race. I know that there might be some pressure, but that victory over this surface at this distance was the reason that I wanted to keep No More Time on my ticket. I don't believe you did. You faded No More Time. What are your thoughts on Domestic Product and No More Time?
So this to me, this was the Paco Lopez. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, keep going.
You're gonna have to pull. Okay, no, I'm sorry. This is the Paco Lopez less Tampa Bay Derby, where he has the biggest influence in the races that I watch and in the recap. I don't see, and again, No More Time with Paco Lopez versus without Paco Lopez. I just feel like the style of jockey that he is, he's a front end guy. He's that guy you want on your speed horse. He knows how to get him out in front. And I mean, look at was it Hades, who the success he had with that horse going back to the Holy Bull, right? So
yep.
You take there's a horse for a course, and there's a kind of a jockey for a horse. I don't know that he gets the same trip with Javier Castellano. Not taking anything away from Javier, I just don't see him as aggressive with the horse and getting him and pushing him up to the front and taking control of this race. I think that there's going to be a little bit of front end pressure, and he's going to want to sit, and probably not conducive to his style, just the way I see it unfolding a little bit. So I landed someplace else. I actually I went with Todd Pletcher. I just think that he uses this race. He loves Tampa Bay. He loves bringing his horses there. Whether they win or lose, he just likes the Tampa Bay Derby, coming out of that Derby and having success with horses in the past. So that was my number one. And I figured I'd go away from both of these, probably going to be short prices for different reasons. And I look at the horse like Domestic Product, who's, you're going to get him at 8-5 today, right? Morning line. He was 14-1 in the Holy Bull. Do I want to bet him now at 8-5? One of the guys that I follow a lot of, on the New York circuit is Andy Serling, and he's the guy who'll tell you, listen, the horse can win. You want to win all day long in this type of field at 8-5. Go ahead. It's not going to be with my money. I'm going to pass on that one. I'm going to look someplace else. He's kind of, if I think they're all even-ish, I'm going to take the ones that I think are bigger prices. I'm going to look for a bigger price in this race. I think I went with mostly price across the board. I have Pletcher's heartened up top on at the first spot, and then I think I went with the Crazy Mason, another angle play. That's Gary Sacco. He's a mammoth guy going down to Tampa. I kind of put a line through his last race, and I think that he could come out of this race, with a solid effort. Looks to be a good price at 12-1 right now. And then I think my next horse had good money, and then the 9 Grand Mo the first. So I stayed away from the two chalks. I think that with a field like this, they're all being even. I'm going to go someplace else.
Yeah, and I agree with your strategy. If you're going to go elsewhere, you don't want to miss when you take that shot. So use the prices that you like. You've got some good ones in there. I agree with good money at 15-1. This is the Chad Brown horse that has a victory over the Tampa Dirt, as we talked about, has a victory at 7 furlongs. I think a victory at 7 furlongs is okay for me, stretching him out to 1 mile in the 16th. This horse is sired by Good Magic, a horse that is probably not going to struggle with that added distance. I agree that if you're going to use one of them, you gotta pick one, either No More Time or Domestic Product. Don't put them both on your ticket. You're just expanding your ticket price, and you, as you said, you're getting favorites. So I had to make a choice. I used No More Time, and then I also used the 9 Grand Mo the first as well. Look at that last race. The last race was the first time this horse ran on the dirt. This horse started on the synthetic at Gulfstream Park, then went out to Santa Anita and ran in that grade 3 behind Endlessly. Remember, Endlessly went out to win the El Camino in Golden Gate. Not going to be going to the Preakness, but Endlessly is a horse that's very well known in the Trust the Profits, is one that Sean has been touting for such a long time. But comes back on the dirt, and Brisnet speed figure first time on the dirt of an 87 behind Le Dombro. And Le Dombro, we just saw, have a very solid effort in his last time, just this past weekend. A horse who I think can certainly flatter Grand Mo the first as well. Let's take a quick look at your pace scenario. I always like to give a line for the 10-point difference for the Brisnet Prime Power number. You don't have a lot of pace here on paper. You got Domestic Product, No More Time, Ever Do It, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce that last one that has an E5. We'll leave that to Jason Beam. But it's interesting as we look at these, because a lot of these prep races for the Derby has been many EP, and you finally get a race actually here where you have a lot more horses that maybe aren't from a run style designated the E and the EP pace. Another reason why I was more intrigued by No More Time. You made a great point about the Paco Lopez less horse, though. So I go 6, 7, 11 with the 4, 7, 9. That ticket will cost you $9. Kings Point Stables goes 6, 10, 11, 12 with the 1, 4, 8, 9. That'll cost you $16. We will be paying attention. We'll be tweeting this out on Saturday, and hopefully we can get home a winner. Kings Point Stables, I thank you so much for your opportunity to come on here and show that you don't just know the game of silks, you know handicapping as well.
One other aspect about that bet, that $16 bet. So what I will also do is my top 2, I'll layer in an extra bet for those that I think, my top 2 and top 2. So I'll go with another, $2 $4 ticket, just to again, the day of the race, you're not going to get to see the post parade for the second race, but that first race, you kind of have an idea. Maybe I'm going to pepper the ticket a little more with a couple of those horses that they look like freaks on that day. Yeah,
you're playing your strong opinion. You're playing a strong opinion and putting more money in those 2 horses that you have a stronger feeling for. And one reason we love the daily doubles is you get to look at the probable pools and know what your possibility of getting paid back is. So take his 2 on top horses in each leg and maybe throw a couple extra shillings on that as well. As we said, it's the first day of season 2 for Game of Silks. Check it out. Jump in the Discord. Reach out to us if you need help. Good luck to everybody playing the Tampa Bay Derby.